What inspired me to get involved was visiting the National Memorial to Peace and Justice in Montgomery, Alabama, which is part of the Equal Justice Initiative. I knew it would be emotional, but I had no idea the impact it would have on me. In fact, I really don't have words to say how I felt. I'm a quilter, and I have been for many years, and I had the idea that perhaps making memorial quilts to honor the victims could be a way that I could contribute.
This project has brought together people who would never have known one another, that perhaps would never have ever had an opportunity to work together.
No, I had a friend named Sheila. She called me and told me that you, the white girl, didn't know any black quilters. Well, quilting plays a part because it's an ancient art. So we are, as quilters, we're trying to expose our art, and then we're trying to tell a story through art. The goal of the project is to get the message out to all of America, all across the country, that these lynchings happened.
People need to know. We have a history. We cannot continue to brush it up under a rug. African Americans were terrorized, beaten, and killed just because of the color of their skin.
These are stories that people don't know.
We had a kind of quandary about what we were going to do and how we were going to do it.
And we all picked one or two of the lynching victims to commemorate with a quilt.
I had Thomas Finch. He was found in 1936. He was a hospital orderly, very well loved, respected individual in the community, and he was taken in the middle of the night, and so I decided to depict him as they found him. He was so brutally murdered, and it just broke my heart.
My name is Robin Black, and I'm the artist for the Floyd Carmichael quilt. He was accused of attacking a 15-year-old white woman. He was brought to her home and shot to death. The crowd wanted to burn his body, and down below you see a bonfire. The blackbirds above signify his impending death. In September of 1889, Warren Powell, a 14-year-old African-American, was murdered by a white mob. I show him resisting as he was broken out of his jail. I also have an image of praying hands, which symbolizes the prayers and pleadings of his family who begged for his life before he was murdered.
One of my quilts was representing the 1899 Palmetto Massacre. These men were kept in a warehouse, supposedly because they set fires. No one really knows. The middle of the quilt is really the aftermath inside of the warehouse. The Klan came in and they murdered them. My other quilt represented Mac Henry Brown. He was found handcuffed, feet bound, and shot in the Chattahoochee near Roswell. No one knows what happened to him. A friend of mine actually said the trees were the witnesses.
I did Sterling Thompson, who was a politician and community organizer who lived in Fairburn, Georgia. He was a man of high standing in the community, so that's why I've used the staircase as my focal point. It was very hard for me to do that work. You know, when you're reading the stories and you're in the midst of a pandemic, and then you have this history that you have to bring up.
I'm an Atlanta girl, so I picked the Atlanta Massacre. It symbolizes that. I didn't know it was going to be as big a project as it was. My work is like a 3-panel expression. It has the downtown scene, then it has a scene in the neighborhood, and the center scene is where a lady, Annie Shepherd, was shot point blank. Dennis Hubert was a student at Morehouse College. He just happened to be going through a school play yard where children were out playing, and 7 white men attacked him because they thought he was the one that said something earlier in the day to a white woman, and they shot him in the head and lynched him.
I think this exhibition is a great model for other coalitions, other committees around the country that are supported by and support the Equal Justice Initiative. I think it's a beautiful way to talk about the harsh truths of bigotry and racism and lynching in a way that informs and draws people in.
So we don't have to be afraid of the past. We have to learn from the past so that we can move forward.
It's been a journey, and we've survived the trip.